question.
Ma'am, you are not audible. I think there's some technical issue. Ma'am, you are not audible. We can see the slides, but you are not audible.
Now, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes, madam, you're audible.
sorry for the interruption. Okay, so tell me. Okay, so tell me, what do you think? What is the need for mentoring in the current times? There has been need of mentoring since ages, but what is it that makes it necessary that teachers should work as mentors too? Actually, before going to the topic, I would like you to, I would actually put forth 2, 3 disclaimers. The topic was educators. I have limited my presentation to only teachers, not overall educators. That is one thing. Another thing is I have limited my presentation to mentoring and not counseling. Guidance will automatically come in that, but if you see, counseling is a very specialized area and it needs specialized training. So we won't be expecting teachers to be counselors without training. So we will not talk about it, but otherwise we will talk about teachers as guides and mentors. Okay, so what do you think? What is the need? Why it is necessary to mentor students in the current times, of course, in the current times?
Ma'am, after COVID, the situation is students were this batch which we are getting now last 2 years. They have spent almost 2 years in COVID in closet and with the phone. So apart from how they like now we can see the change in the behavior pattern of the student, and because of technology, the students like what they are thinking, maybe a guide it cannot be. So I think in today's scenario it is like more of guidance from elders and teachers are required.
True, true. Corona has shaken us all and the systems also, and it is very essential. True. And some few of you have replied in the chat box. Yes, is the need of our challenges of 21st century stress competition, very rightly said. Support to help them grow in proper way, as many challenges are there. Very, very correct. To help them achieve their true potential, very good. Nuclear family, single family, broken homes, very true, very true. Yes, so almost all reasons you have underlined. So, are the slides changing? I can't see slide changing on my. Students need that special touch in the form of guidance. Sometimes they are often lost, so we need to show them. Yes, very true, very true. No? Okay. I don't know why it is not.
Now we are able to see the next slide, ma'am. We can see the slide.
But it is not seen in the slideshow mode. It's not getting changed actually. I don't know why. Okay, we will keep it. Can you read this?
Yes, it's readable.
Okay, okay, good. So, we all know that we are dealing with Gen Z or Gen Alpha. Those who are teaching in schools, they are working with Gen Alpha. So there are typical characteristics of this generation. We all are aware about that. We all know that, and we are experiencing that also. So we don't find our generation or maybe next few generations are not able to find themselves equipped with how to handle this extreme change in attitudes, in skills, in behavior, everything. So to handle this Gen Z, a typical Z and Alpha, of course, this has a very unique combination. Basically, this generation, they have lots of potential, they have lots of energy, and still they don't have kind of a realistic view, or they have lots of information at their hands. They know many things, but they lack in experience. So the information doesn't get transformed into knowledge. It is very difficult for us to give them virgin experiences, because they have lots of information. They put on some typical specs of attitudes, and through those specs they try to look at the experience. In our times, what used to be there, we used to experience first and then get the information and knowledge about that experience. But now, due to various technological advances and all those electronic gadgets, students have lots of information, but they don't have that experiences which will convert that information into knowledge. So that is the biggest flaw in recent times. Another thing is, there has been, since maybe we can say in 20th century, there has been changes in social systems. For example, if you see, earlier there used to be joint families, and in those families, social training, emotional management training, all these basic life skills were developed. But now, as we have shifted to nuclear families, it is very difficult for schools, which are the primary center for socialization, to take on these additional roles. So family is not performing those roles, and schools are not yet equipped, or they are not yet aware, school or colleges, educational institutions, they are not yet ready or not aware about what roles they need to play. So that is one thing. Another thing is, as we have discussed, these people have lots of information, and our traditional education system is based on, again, information giving, content delivery. We are not yet ready to shift our focus on from content to processes. Actually, what is the need? We need to train them, or we need to teach them how to learn. We need to teach them the basic processes they need for teaching learning process, maybe learning processes especially, but we are short of it as a system. Again, I am telling you about the general system. So there are no educational, the comparatively or relatively very small changes are occurring, or they are slow. We can say that they are very slow compared to change in students, quality of students, the nature of students. The changes in educational system are very slow. Another thing, after say globalization, liberalization, so after 1990s, there have been many alternatives available in every aspect of our life, right from daily daily use products to career opportunities, and there is ample choice, we have to decide, and we are not aware, we don't know how to take decisions, how to choose among various alternatives, and our education system also doesn't prepare students to make good decisions. media influence is there. We all know that. Um all these factors, almost all these factors, uh, increase disconnect of students from themselves as well as the surroundings. So they are not ready to look inward. They are not thinking about what they want, what they need, apart from the materialistic belongings, of course. So it's very difficult to maintain inner harmony or inner peace. Our entire lives are, we have put our entire lives on stake for the materialistic needs. So it's very actually dangerous scenario when we talk about human race or humanity. On the backdrop of this situation, we need to uh, maybe we need to help our students, or we need to facilitate the process of students leading a harmonious and constructive life. So this is the background. I feel these points are very important when we mentor our students. What do you think? If when we see mentor, which all processes are involved in it? Which are like you all know Bloom's taxonomy. There are action verbs. So in mentoring, process of mentoring also there are action verbs. Can you tell me some few action verbs? What all the mentors do? Anyone in the chat box? They understand. Very good. Very good. Analyze. Good. Listen to their students. Very good. Yes, they discuss. Very true. Very true. Any other discussion? Yes. They guide. Very good. What else? They share. Correct. Empathize. Good. Listen. Question. Very good answers. Yes, they share experiences. Very correct. Very good, very good. So I have made a very small list of various action verbs. Very good. Motivate. Attentively listen. Very good. Yes, all these verbs are correct, and list can go on. Maybe we can list down hundreds of verbs as a role of mentor. So few of them you have actually told most of them. I have listed few more, like orienting, directing, navigating, clarifying, demonstrating, training, coaching. So there are certain subtle differences in the shades of these words. So in all, the mentor has to take on multiple roles, of course, as per the need of the mentee, and all these efforts need to be directed towards shaping a raw student into a harmonious, healthy human being who contributes to the society in a constructive way. So, an individual who attains his or her own academic goals, career goals, and strives to search meaning in his or her life. So, we have to take the student till that end. It's not at all an easy task. As you can visualize, as you can experience, you must have experienced rather, it's not at all an easy task. So, just okay. If you take the example of academic goals, the job starts from helping the mentee to set the goals. For this, mentor takes into consideration various criteria like mentee's ability, interest, his or her initial previous performance, overall class performance, or how much marks are usually say set for that particular subject, or the how much time is in hand, how much is to prepare, how much content has to be covered, etc. So these all criteria, these all points, topics are discussed with the mentee. A goal is mutually decided usually, and plans to attain those goals are chalked out. Again, in this, if you visualize, many skills are involved, like maybe self-study skills are there, or time management skills are there, various different planning skills are there. So various different skills are, mentor helps mentee to attain those skills. Apart from the marks, mentor discusses or mentor helps the mentee to gain deeper knowledge of the subject. He or she discusses various related concepts, tries to join the dots between various different concepts, puts a bigger picture in front of the mentee, and for example, if we take example of say if you are trying to teach the concept of empathy, along with the term empathy or the construct of empathy, it is basically the related concepts are taught or discussed rather, not taught exactly, but where it is seen in everyday life, or its implications or its scope, applications, where can we use it, and most importantly, how it is experienced. That part is discussed, that part is done, rather the what we can say, the mentor helps the mentee to experience that concept. So the lacking part many a times is experiencing. So we have to focus more on that. Going at the next level of career goals, once the mentee learns how to learn and learns how to set the goals and use strategies to attain that goal, next level is of career goals. For example, selecting a career. For selection of suitable career, again, the mentor can help mentee to increase his or her self-awareness. What are his or her capabilities? What are his or her interests? Which profession will need the best combination or best match of his or her profile of abilities? What kind of lifestyle the person, the student wants? in life, what are his values and preferences, because our career needs to be aligned to our values as well. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to pursue. Then the another important part or another important point in uh, deciding the career is discussing or searching, especially in case of school students as well as college students, what the student exactly wants from his or her life. So mentor needs to discuss these things with mentee. Many a times discussion is not sufficient. So you need to uh, again help mentee to take few experiences. Because if you see, in today's time, people uh, rectify, yes. In today's time, the especially in urban areas, children are raised in very protective environments. There are reasons for it. We won't go into that, but their social skills or other skills are very low. So I remember experience of one of my students. She was academically excellent student. She used to get marks. She was well read. She was immensely interested in psychology, was ready to work on herself. However, as I told you, she was raised in a very overprotective environment and lacked that basic understanding of uh, humans and had not developed sufficient social skills and basically the approach needed to learn and apply psychology, especially the counseling. So I suggested her to devote a year for working in the field. She came to us. She did our course, school psychology course after graduation, and I suggested her to devote 1 year for working in a field to take direct experiences of how people live, how people think, how people take decisions, or how people um, say live basically. And when she did that, it added immensely to her understanding of the subject, as well as she grew as a human being also. It helped her in her counseling also, which she pursued after doing this 1 year kind of internship in the field. So we need to locate where the gap is. We need to locate where there is um, place to fill up. This gap can be of any nature rather. It may be related to skills, it may be related to approach, it may be related to experience, anything. But we need to identify that gap. Many a times mentoring is a lifelong process, especially high ability students are connected with their teachers or mentors for long years. And so after few years of career, mentee may want to change the career. Their mentor needs to make him or her aware about the real reasons behind their change, their quitting the current career, and help him or her to select the appropriate new career. Sometimes um, uh, sometimes the mentee is not able to adjust in the current career which he is pursuing. So the mentor has to help him or her in that adjustment also, to enhance performance in the current career, or to maybe prepare the mentee for taking higher responsibilities. So basically, the changing needs of the mentee need to be considered, need to be understood by the mentor. The next important area where we usually do not consider it, but the next important area is personal life. There are few personal goals, or rather, mentee can be helped in setting personal goals. So decisions in personal life can be discussed if the mentee needs. Again, this process is initiated by the mentee. We can take initiative, of course, when the mentee is not aware about his or her needs, but the progression of the relationship depends on the initiative of the mentee. So regarding personal life also, work issues like work-life balance and sometimes selection of mate, or planning the personal life, mentor can help the mentee. The fourth step is extremely important and extremely difficult as well. Mentee needs to be helped, or needs to be, his journey to search his life goals needs to be facilitated by the mentor. After taking wide range of, not after, during also, but during and after taking wide range of experiences, facing various challenges, daring to come out of the comfort zone, the mentee is encouraged to think about what makes his or her life meaningful, what he or she wants exactly from life, what he or she doesn't want, and what he or she is ready to sacrifice, against which things. So all these things need to be discussed, need to be tested by the mentee under the guidance of mentor. Teachers are the best persons to help students in this regard also. Usually we stop at career goals, but it is not like, if you see in today's world also, there are many shifts in careers. Why it is so? Many a times the initial choice is wrong, or else wrong in a sense that the person wants something else from his life and he is doing something else. We encounter, or we experience this very frequently. There is a growing trend of quitting IT jobs and entering into humanity fields. So we have some needs, human needs, emotional needs, and if our careers are not in line or aligned with those needs, if the careers are not satisfying those needs, we cannot be satisfied in high paying jobs also. So what exactly we want, what do we prefer, what are our values? If we don't have money related values, we won't value professions which are high paying against those who are more service oriented, maybe humanistic in nature. So all these things mentee needs to be made aware of. Vinobaji Bhave has, sorry, Vinobaji Bhave has put forth a very simple model to decide your life work, or say your uh, how to decide the life goal or life work. So this is the most interesting, as well as this is the most difficult part, also difficult role also. If you see, most of us spend our lives for earning money. No thought is given to what exactly we want. We have, rather, in general, in society, the awareness that money is mean to an end, and not end in itself, is winning out, and life is revolving around fulfilling materialistic needs. We are ignoring ourselves and others also, the surroundings also. So Vinobaji says that one needs to be aware about one's own interests, abilities, strengths, weaknesses, which he names as swabhav, that is self-constitution. As we get many things by default, by birth, like say healthy body, family, materialistic belongings, the surroundings, the infrastructure, or the say school, many other social systems, just because we are born, it is our duty to give something back to the society, give something back with gratitude. So Vinobaji believes that serving society or aligning one's own growth with societal growth is our duty. That is swadharma. And also we need to choose careers in line with global trends. What are global trends? Few examples we can take, as currently the global trend is cooperation against competition. If you see during last few years, collaborations are on increase. Initially, competition was on increase. So the whole world is shifting towards cooperation, or the whole world is concerned about environmental protection, etc. So we have to take into consideration global trends. We should be aware about global trends. The point is, the mentor needs to help the mentee to search the intersection of these three things: swabhav, swadharma, and yuga dharma. That is our own constitution, our duty or responsibility towards society, and the global trends. Or human rights, for example, is the current global trend. We need to value humans first. So we have to be aware about what is happening around us, what is happening globally, not just locally, but globally. And the function or the role of mentor is helping the mentee to search his own intersection of these three factors. We need to, we as mentors, need to help mentee to find some work through which he or she will find meaningfulness in his or her life. Or maybe he or she will find inner harmony, for which there is a very good word. I like that word. He or she would find mature happiness in his life. So this is the ultimate actually destination where we want to take our students to. I have just touched upon a very abstract, say, uh, goal or destination. This is the right word, where we want our mentee to take. And this can be done through any domain like art, sports, music, science, technology, any domain, humanities. The gist is basically helping the mentee to understand self, understand his work, and understand the world around. Are you getting the point? Yes, association. True. So, in sum, if you see, the mentor's role is not limited to just achieving academic goals, but extends to help the mentee to realize his or her potentials, help learning to learn, develop underlying processes for learning actually, like thinking skills, creativity, problem solving, decision making, etc. Then help the mentee to take challenges, come out of his or her comfort zone. Always remember that unless the mentee breaks his comfort zone, he won't grow. It is true for us also, ourselves also. So we as mentors also need to be open to take various experiences. And again, mentor's role in planning and striving for mentee's life for personal growth. Personal growth is basically, it can span up to spiritual growth also. Not just materialistic growth, but social, emotional, intellectual, physical, in every domain, in every aspect of life, we grow. So, mentor needs to assist, or maybe mentor needs to facilitate personal growth of the mentee. Then also help the mentee to manage hurdles in his good journey. It won't be a linear, a smooth journey. Of course, we all face hurdles. Mentee is also going to face hurdles, going to go down, going to say experience failures. So we as mentors need to be with the mentee. So the scope, if you see, of mentorship is from very personal, trivial things to professional life, and also beyond that, kind of spiritual life also. I am not talking about religious life, but spiritual, that is extending self beyond self, extending self to, for example, if you take any saint, or if you take any, if you can take the example of, say, social workers, renowned social workers like, say, Baba Amte, or maybe even for that, not social workers only, but if you take any person who is dedicated to his field of work, you can take example of scientists like Abdul Kalam, or anyone who has dedicated his life for the cause, some cause. It may be science, it may be society, anything. So, for finding those meaningfulness in life, we need to assist the mentee. So, I have put these points under the role of mentor. Do you want to ask anything? This is more abstract. We have very limited time. That's why I have not touched upon how to do it. We will discuss few things in the next session. But overall, if you see, um, this is the depth and this is the scope of a role of mentor. You have to understand that, you have to keep that in mind, and it's not like just growth of mentee, but we also go on growing, we also go on developing with our mentee. So that's all from my side. If you have anything to share or anything to ask, you can ask or share. Any questions? No questions?
Ma'am, I would like to say that your lecture is quite engrossing, and on behalf of all the teaching community here, I would like to ask this question to you. The teaching job is very time bound. We have to maintain timing for lectures, and then other related tasks are also there. So, how can a teacher justify their role as a mentor?
Yes, always remember that those who are passionate about their students' overall growth, well-being, those who are ready to devote extra time, those who are ready to take additional responsibility, those who are ready to work on themselves also, they only should go for mentoring. It's a Herculean task, I would say. So it's not easy. It will take toll of your, maybe sometimes toll of your health, toll of your work-life balance, because it's much beyond going just giving intermittent advice. It's always walking on a tightrope, because the next slide actually talks about it. But as you have raised the question, it's very difficult, I would agree. And because of these demands, many a times our personal life also gets disturbed. We are totally engulfed in our work many a times, and despite all these demands, I know many teachers at school also and at college also, they are relentlessly and selflessly doing this job. And yes, it needs to stretch your working hours, it needs to stretch your, say, mental resources also, because it's not at all easy to understand a person and kind of guide him or her through her life. So yes, this is a practical problem. Just I will put that slide. It's like walking on a tightrope. There are many hurdles in that, I agree. But still, you can do it if you want. You need passion, not just a thought. Always remember that. There is a beautiful movie, I don't remember its name. It's a beautiful English movie. The ending is little bit negative, in a sense. She has to face divorce in her personal life, but the story talks about a teacher, lady teacher in a school, who strives hard to make her students learn many things. beyond classroom. So it's a beautiful movie. I don't remember the name. But there are practical difficulties. I agree. Yes. Freedom writers, what do you mean by that? What about special students' needs? Yes, it doesn't, your mentee can be of any type. So, for example, for special students, you have to first work on their self-esteem or self-confidence and then move on to the other things, maybe career and academic goals and all those things. But you have to, and also work on their motivation. So it doesn't matter what kind of mentee you have. You have to go by their needs. It's a very personalized thing. Mentoring is very personalized thing. We have to go by mentees' needs, mentees' preferences many a times. So yes, Helen Keller, true. And you can have multiple mentors at a time also. Like for example, many sports persons used to take mentoring from Dr. Bhishmaraj Bam, who was a psychologist, who was actually he was from police background, but afterwards he devoted his life to sports. So for personal things, you can have different mentor. For professional things, you can have different mentor. It's not like each and every aspect or each and every domain of your life, of mentee's life, should be handled by a single person. Have I answered your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, any other question? For what purpose you are doing this? That should be clear in your mind. Mentoring. And where you want to take your mentee. That should be clear for you. If possible, do visit Jnana Prabodhini. There is lot of literature related to this topic, and you can read that literature, discuss that, and also we have few courses also, but mainly literature you can go through. Actually, what happens if you see the Western books and Western, many a times they stop at career goals, because Western philosophy is mostly based on materialistic gains, materialistic achievements. In Indian context, we go much beyond that. We as Indians know that money is not the ultimate goal of life. Earning money is not ultimate goal of life. So that perspective should be given, needs to be given to your mentee. Like money, success, maybe success also in case of sports. Yes, you compete to win, that is true. But to what extent you should give importance to that outcome, that you need to discuss with your mentee. The process is important. The experiencing process is important. Do we teachers need to take training for mentoring skills? Um, you can. I don't know. There are coaching trainings for coaching, life coach, and all those things. Mentoring, I have to see, but it's more about you developing yourself. That is true. And yes, you can have training related to some aspects of that particular, uh, like, for example, listening skills, communication skills, or maybe what we can say, empathizing also. Basic counseling skills, basic listening skills. So for skills, yes, you can take training, but it should be from within you, that you want to understand the student and you want to understand the capability of the student and you want to make him or her realize that. It is an evolving process, actually, if you see. We also get evolved with our mentees. It's sometimes it also happens that we don't know what to do next, and maybe through intuition or maybe through trial and error, we go ahead, and with that, what can we say with that, with taking those experiences help us to see the next path. Yes, it's give and take. Yes, but yes, the mentor should be at a higher level than the mentee with respect to knowledge, experience, the vision, we can say, vision about or understanding of the world, understanding of self. Yes, it is not on the same plane. Okay, do you want a break of 2-3 minutes? Bio break? Maybe at 3:45 we can start again. Is it okay?
Yes, madam. We can take a
Okay.
break. Yes, no problem.
Okay, so after 3 minutes, 3-4 minutes, we will.
We can take a 5 minute
again.
break.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 3:47, we
Yes.
will come back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Somebody has raised hand or what? I'm not able to see that. Okay. I hope everyone is back. Yes. So again, I will share the. Okay. Okay. So we were talking. I was thinking about your query. One more thing we can do in the classroom that rather we should do that discussing what is happening around us, maybe discussing the news in the newspaper or the major happenings around us, and connecting the content which is going on in the class to that particular happening, that particular event, so that they get the idea that I am part of this system. What I am learning is related to what is happening around me, and basically, being a part of this system, I can contribute to it. So the focus of education, always we say that the education should be man-making education. We should make good human beings out of through or using the tool of education. So it's not like everything has to be done outside the classroom only. We can have we can what we can say we can sensitize students related to many things in the classroom also, the way we teach our content, and it can be any content related to any subject, even for that matters while teaching languages also. We can have such exercises which will help them grow as a human being. We have to just think creatively to search for some such activities. Okay, so we have talked about these things. You need time management skills for that. Another point is many a times being a teacher and being a mentor, the roles are opposite, or maybe they are clashing. So you have to balance between those two. As a teacher, we are commanding. We try to put the students into our framework or maybe our institute's framework. And as mentors, usually we go by mentors, say, it's kind of non-directive many a times. We don't direct that do this, don't do that kind of things. So the focus is on making the mentee realize certain things. So many a times these roles also clash. So we have to put limits, put boundaries on our different roles. Maybe in the classroom we can have teacher's role, but as soon as we step out of the classroom, we can enter into mentor's role. So it's not easy, I know that, but you can build trust in the minds of students that you can help them beyond classroom as well. So, yes, I have listed down again a few qualities of a good mentor. The list can, we can add thousands of qualities in this list. These are the basic ones. The good mentor should have good communication skills, non judgmental acceptance. Why? We will see in the next slide. Why I have written that. A high level of involvement, devotion, and passion. Then creative problem solving skills, because you have to sometimes design some experiences for the mentee. So you have to be creative, you have to have problem solving skills, you need to be strongly committed to your principles and ethics. As in counseling profession, in mentoring also, there are instances or there are chances that you may enter into, you may indulge into some unethical things. So, strong commitment to your principles and ethics, because many a times when mentee comes to you with some ethical dilemma, you should be in a position to take a fixed side. So, strong commitment to your principles and ethics. Approachability, this is very important. As teachers, we may not be always approachable to the students, but for mentor and mentee relationship, this approachability matters a lot. Then, genuineness. If you are genuine, many things get managed. Maybe sometimes your inability to help also can be understood by the mentee, but you need to be genuine. Don't put on some mask or don't put on some uh, mask of greatness that I am going to lead your life, or maybe I am going to decide what happens in your life, that kind of thing. So you need to be genuine, you need to be trustworthy. The mentee needs to have that faith in you that he or she can share anything with you. He or she can share honest feedback with you. So that trustworthiness should be built. Again, many a times it comes with non-judgmental acceptance, but not always. Not always. So we need to be trustworthy. We need to build on our trustworthiness. It doesn't come automatically. Maybe we have to follow the confidentiality rules. We have to be genuine. We have to be empathetic. We have to convey back that we are understanding the position of the mentee. So, trustworthiness, and the mentee should get that assurance that nothing is preventing me from expressing with my mentor. So, I won't be judged, and I won't be, he will not think of me as something inferior if I share something. So that trustworthiness is extremely important. This we will discuss in the last, strong personal integrity. But mentor should have awareness of surroundings. So right from local to global, what are global trends and what is needed in surroundings, what is happening in surroundings. The mentor should have an deep understanding of the society around around them, or around the mentee and the mentor, as well as its connections outside that locality also. So, awareness about surroundings is extremely essential. Then, ability and skill to give constructive feedback. Many a times, mentee falters or some kind of undesirable or maybe failures are experienced by mentee. So, without hurting the mentee, without say pinpointing the person, we need to give constructive feedback about the actions or the behavior. So ability to frame that feedback, constructive feedback, is also extremely essential, because this mentoring process is often based on this feedback system. Some kind of discussion takes place, some kind of say assignment is given, some kind of task is given, and the feedback is shared. The mentee shares his experiences, his or her experiences, and the mentor gives the feedback. So to say give constructive feedback is extremely important. Many a times we do that mistake, that you are such and such person kind of thing. It's not about that person but his behavior. Like maybe failure in an competitive exam, the mentee is not able to crack say JEE exam for example. So we need to understand that the person is not incompetent, but efforts may be lacking or efforts in a right direction may be lacking. So focusing on the behavior and not the person is the main thing. And patience, understanding that this process, this journey is not a linear one. You have to understand that there may be sometimes failures, there may be sometimes gaps in the relationship, sometimes the mentee may not be in contact with the mentor, like when we are talking about lifelong mentoring. So you have to be patient. Sometimes he won't be giving you the feedback, that also you have to be patient. It's a balance between involvement and detachment actually. So you need not be, you should not be rather over involved in the mentee, and you should not be detached also. And the last point I told you, strong personal integrity. As a mentor, you should be, there should be harmony among your thoughts, actions, and behavior, and the feelings also. Your emotions, there should not be very serious conflicts. We all have conflicts in our mind. We all have some, say, emotional baggages or some issues in our life. But yes, they should not hamper our integrity, because it affects the mentor-mentee relationship and in turn it affects the mentoring process. So the person getting disturbed is okay. We as human beings, all of us get disturbed at times. But we should not lose our integrity. We should be very much aligned with our maybe life goal, values, preferences, and needs. That thread should not be lost. So we need to be very much integrated. We as mentors need to be integrated. So for that, which factors will affect my role? There are some factors within me and some are external to me. So external to me are not within my control. Therefore, we won't discuss them at length. We won't discuss them much, like situational factors which we don't have control upon, and response by mentee, that also we don't have control upon. But what are the factors within me which I can control, which I can be aware of, and which will affect my role as a mentor? So I should be very much aware about my needs. For example, if my need to affiliate with someone, to relate with someone is very high, if I am not aware about it, I may get over involved in my mentee. When I am aware about that, it is very easy to manage those needs. Or for example, say what can be the other example? Say monetary needs. That is one aspect. Usually there may be some, for the some specific reasons. For example, like for example sports or any performing art, there can be paid mentorship, but generally uh, when we talk about teachers as mentors, no monetary gains are involved in that. So if my that need is strong, I may tempt to bring those monetary things in my relationship. So I should be aware about my needs, my preferences, which again in turn depend on my values. I should be very, very well aware of my values, because many assumptions, many stereotypes, many say biases come out of those values. For example, the loyalty in relationships. Nowadays, if you see those who are teaching at college level, many students are following, or they live in relationship. They are in live-in relationship. So whether that, if I am aware about my preference, my value of maybe loyalty towards a person, or maybe having physical relationships only after marriage, I may get biased towards that student. So if I know that I have this say value, or I have this preference, I have this bias, I can be aware, or I can be alert towards, or I can try that it doesn't come in between my mentoring. It becomes easy to manage when we are aware of our preferences. Like I said, many a times the mentee comes with some ethical dilemmas. Many a times our students come to us regarding, say, what should I do in case of they have, say, some school student has shared something with them which cannot be revealed to the school, but they feel that it should be known to the school. So loyalty issues, whether to be loyal to the client, or whether to be loyal to the employer, that kind of ethical dilemmas they come up with, and we have to take stand which is ethically professional, with in line with professional ethics. So I should be very clear about professional ethics, my own ethical values, because of which I won't be I won't become biased towards that person. Then my uh, okay, then my liking and passion, yes, definitely. If I am not passionate enough about that, the student's growth, I should not enter into that field. Or else, whatever is necessary, whatever is compulsory, we can stop at that. Then, assumptions. We have many assumptions based on our prior experiences, our, say, uh, somebody has told us something and we assume that. For example, if I am helping the mentee would definitely benefit from it, or the growth of mentee would be continuous. It's not like that. It's never like that, rather. So, for example, assumptions related to some professions, or maybe admissions related to some institutes. For example, if the mentee has got admission in IIT, he would be happy. That is my assumption. I have to cross check that. So I have to go on cross checking my assumption, my ethics, my principles, my stereotypes also. There are various stereotypes based on maybe caste, religion, gender, many things, social status, many things. So whether I am holding such stereotypes, for example, when I feel I have that stereotype of female, say, gender, that the first duty of women are to follow their domestic responsibilities. I will guide my mentee, who is a girl, who is female, in that way only, which can be, which may not be proper for her, which may not be appropriate for her life. So I need to check my stereotypes based on various things. And stereotypes are very difficult to track because they are so ingrained in us. We are unconsciously following those stereotypes many a times. So they are on very subtle level. They are very strongly held also. So we need to be aware of that. Then my thinking errors. We all, our actually brains are in the process of evolution. We are made to think wrongly. Our brain takes shortcuts. Our brain sometimes, for example, in thinking errors, I will include biases also. We have negativity bias. Like we give more weightage. We have done, for example, 9 good things and 1 some bad thing, or 9 successes and 1 failure, and we give weightage to that 1 single failure and feel bad about that. So we ignore the importance of 9 successes. This is a bias. This is negativity bias, it is called. So in the process of evolution, basically, when we were in hunters and gatherers stage, 1 single mistake or 1 single failure might have led to death. So our brain is wired in such a way that the negatives or the failures are given more weightage. So are we doing that? Like the mentee is very disturbed because he cannot secure admission to, say, IIT, or he could not crack UPSC, MPSC examination. are we in a position to critically think that how much impact that one failure is making on his entire life? That we have to understand, that we have to think, that we have to become aware of. So, for example, all or none thinking error. If I don't get admission to IIT, I am worthless. There is no thing in between. I am not considering my career as a continuum. If yes, only IIT, otherwise, no. So, as a mentor, can I see those in between gray shades? So, I should be aware, I should be always tracking my own thinking errors, my own biases, my own overgeneralizations, my own jumping to conclusions. Because if you see, ultimately it's a play of thinking, play of cognition. So I need to be aware about that to objectively help, objectively facilitate the mentee. And as I said, we go on growing, we go on developing with our mentee. Then whether I am expecting openness from my mentee, whether I am open enough to take different exposures, whether I am, say, ready to break my comfort zone. It's extremely essential for us as mentors to break our comfort zones. Otherwise, we won't be able to grow. So, my openness to exposures, I need to check. Many a times it happens that in many aspects we are open, but in few, we are not at all open, ready to take experiences. So, we need to understand those areas, we need to understand reasons behind those areas, and then work upon that. Then, this is very important. Again, this is related to trust in mentees' capacities, capabilities. So, this is related to all the earlier aspects. Whether I can trust in mentee, whether I believe that mentee has certain capacities. Those who score good marks, we readily acknowledge their capabilities. But especially in case of backbenchers, or especially in case of those who struggle with academics, it's in our typical educational system, it is very difficult to find out their capacities. You are going to have that session, how to identify various capacities or abilities in students, that you will be having tomorrow lecture about that. So that is technical part. But emotionally, on an emotional level, you need to have trust in mentee's capacities. And that trust gets converted into confidence of the mentee. I would like to quote one research actually here. It is related to underachievement of high ability student, and there were two students of same name in a single class. And on the open day, one was very bright student, and the other was somewhat a problem child kind of thing. There were very behavioral issues and there were academic issues as well. And on the open day, by mistake, the teacher gave good feedback about the about the student who was a problem child. As the names were same, by mistake he gave good feedback. Later on he realized mistake, but he didn't corrected it. The teacher did not corrected it. And to his surprise, there were amazing changes in the behavior of that problem child. What happened? That teacher developed positive expectations from the child in the minds of parents. Those who were ridiculing him, criticizing him, started appreciating him, started seeing some positive things in him. So, and this is a real example. It is researched upon. So, developing or having trust in mentees' capacities and conveying that trust is extremely important. Are you getting the point? I have focused upon the internal factors more because these factors affect mentoring process more. Because it's an kind of deep and intimate process. Mentor-mentee relationship is very deep, and you need to have your own awareness before having awareness of the mentee. You can ask certain questions to yourself, and if the answer is yes, you are on a right track, you are doing good job as a mentor. So these are few questions. Am I able to understand and accept self? Am I able to hold non-judgmental attitude towards the mentee? In any case, like for example, not based upon his behavior, not based upon his say academic performance, or not based upon his appearance, not based upon class, caste, religion, anything, socioeconomic status, anything. Am I able to hold non-judgmental attitude? Am I able to keep away my stereotypes? For example, people in slums are dumb. They are nuisance. They create nuisance kind of things. This is my stereotype. It doesn't have base, but I hold it very काय म्हणूयात आपण त्याला, I hold it very tightly in my mind. So, am I able to keep away my stereotypes? Am I clear about my own values? And of course, all these things get checked when we take various different experiences. We face certain dilemmas. Then and then only my values get confirmed, my values get crystallized, we can say. I get clarity about the nature of my values. Then to what extent I experience inner conflicts in my life. When I myself is disturbed to a large extent, I should avoid entering into that relationship. I should stop for a while, and when I recollect myself, then and then only I again can start mentoring. Many a times, if we have mastered the skill of self-management, we prove to be role model for the mentee in especially difficult times. So, but I should be aware about my disturbance, level of my disturbance, maybe intensity of my disturbance. Then to what extent am I ready to openly experience the world? Am I updating myself continuously? Am I growing with my mentee? All these things we need to check. And what I was about to tell you, uh, just a second, it skipped out of my mind. No recall. Yes, so there is a book, many of you may have read it, Tuesdays with Maury. Has anyone read that book? There are beautiful conversations, dialogues between a mentor and a mentee, and you can see the genuinity of the mentor. He is on a deathbed, he is dying, and he knows he is dying, and he converses with his student, the Mori, no, not the, but Mori. The name of that mentor, that teacher is Mori. So, if not, do read that book, Tuesdays with Mori. And it's a beautiful conversation between a mentor and mentee. And you can connect all these things there also, in that relationship also. So, to end the presentation, these are the basic thoughts which I feel are important. Work on yourself first than working on others, and accept yourself, your limitations as well as others, limitations of time as well, and you won't feel bad about it. You won't feel guilty about it. So consider yourself as and others as human beings. That's all from my side. Thank you for patient listening. If you have any doubts, any questions, we can have a small. It's a very enjoyable, satisfying job, but it's very tedious also. Yes, so I will stop sharing, and you can share your experiences also. I'm sure many of you are doing this just now. No? I was expecting some sharing from you. There are 71 of you, actually. And I'm pretty sure that at least some part of it you may be doing with your students.
Ma'am, on behalf of the participants, I would like to ask this question, that sometimes the students come up with excuses. We feel it's excuse, but how should, as a teacher, should we know that they are genuine? And also that teachers are much academic oriented because we want students to be focused in the academics, but when they want us to stretch that limit, like say for assignment dates or inability to do something, but it is a compulsory thing, but they want to avoid it for their person, and they are explaining that to us. So how should as a teacher we handle those situations?
Yes, a very practical but good question. Here we are making a basic mistake, I think so. Please excuse me, I am using a little bit harsh words, but we are separating academics from life. We should be we should be teaching students how to live, why we teach subjects, what is the use, what is the ultimate, say, aim of teaching them all these subjects to make their life better. So we need to connect both the things. And related to the excuses part, just see why they are giving excuses. We as teachers, we as system, school system, how much we tolerate genuinity. For example, they know that they are going to be punished for not doing homework. We need to make them understand that it's their responsibility. Usually what happens, we take responsibility of their submission. They do that submission because they are going to receive punishment. They don't want to do it. So gradually we need to develop that attitude. It's your duty. It is for you. Actually, I can go on speaking on this issue for hours together. But yes, it is the education should be mentioned earlier, as I mentioned earlier, it should be man-making education. We need to develop attitudes as well. So, put the responsibility of learning on students and make that learning interesting for them. That is the role of teacher. In our Gisapita mode kind of thing, in our traditional method, students are not engaged in learning. We forcefully make them sit, forcefully make them learn because they have fear of examination, fear of marks, fear of failing basically. But they don't want to learn that. If we remove and we have experienced that, if we remove the evaluations, they won't do it because we have not put the responsibility of learning on them. We have not facilitated curiosity, or we have not encouraged curiosity in them. So that is the basic problem. And it can be done. Just believe in them, give some freedom. In Dhyan Prabodhini school, 1 year, the principal had done one experiment. He told standard 8 students that there will be no syllabus of physics in 8th standard. Whatever they want to learn in physics will be taught. And the results were amazing. Now, everybody, every school, every subject, this cannot be done. But giving freedom, involving them in the content delivery, and connecting the content to their life will make it more interesting for them, will make it more relevant for them, and which will motivate them to do. It is not, we always, what we can say, we always focus upon external jacks. It is very wrong. We need to increase their internal motivation. I had an experience in one batch of school psychology after COVID. We had online exams. During COVID, we had midterm exams online. And though we had asked them to switch on their videos and all those things, the exam was descriptive, and most of the class copied uh, through Google. We all teachers also use Google, so we know what is copied and what is studied and reproduced. So while giving the papers, I assured them that no marks will be cut if you tell me honestly that you have copied. And you will not believe that 60% class काय म्हणतो आपण त्याला, they agreed that they have copied the matter from Google. Otherwise, I told them, I will tell the names. I can tell you the names who have copied from Google. Of course, for this one incident to happen, there was a trust built before that. So you will not be punished for genuineness, for honesty. That trust should be built. Then we can work upon the right attitude, right kind of behavior, desirable, not right, but desirable behavior. But they should be intrinsically motivated to follow the deadlines, to follow the and this is not just related to school children. It is the same is with college students as well. So we are failing to, the education should be actually aimed at 4 things, I believe. That it should enhance knowledge, it should enhance skills, it should enhance your capability as a human being, and it should develop a right attitude. We fall short of it. Usually we give responsibility of the mistakes on their part, on them. But we don't give responsibility of learning on their shoulders. We should do that. And it can be done, believe me. There are few schools which do this. We can decrease that default behavior. May not be completely wipe out that, but just think upon this. You may feel that it is ideal or theoretical. It's not. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Very well answered. And also, participants, if you have any question, we are already means above the time limit.
Yes.
So if you have any question, you can ask. I think ma'am can spare a couple of minutes for your question, or else we'll conclude the session.
Ma'am, very nice session, very informative. Ma'am, I want to ask you one, I have a doubt because I always face this problem. When my students, we have a mentoring sessions, and when in our mentoring sessions, my students, when they complain about that there are certain weaknesses in the college or maybe some loopholes are there, then ma'am, it is very difficult for me to convince them. So in such a situation, how to handle the students?
Yes, basically there are multiple factors. There are multiple reasons for a say event or for a consequence to happen. But we can just differentiate between the factors in our control and factors beyond our control. So what the college should do is not within control of a student. What is in his control or her control, that molding oneself according to it. Like, for example, a subject the student wants to learn which is not available in the college. He can learn it outside, he can learn it online. No need to stop there just because the college is not offering that. So, how we can just bypass those hurdles, that mindset needs to be developed. There is a very it's not very comprehensive one, but yes, it is practically useful. The growth mindset versus fixed mindset. You can read about it. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. So we need to develop that growth mindset in students. So as there are some scarcities, there are abundances also. There is abundance of many things around you. Think of that, make use of that, work on factors within your control and move ahead. Instead of just complaining and maybe hooking at that point, getting hooked at that point. ठीक है?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
It was very enriching session, ma'am, and we all our participants, I'm sure, were very engrossed in the lecture. And your lecture also will allow us to think more on mentoring more, and we understood the gravity of mentoring after this lecture. And I'm sure all the participants have benefited from this lecture. On behalf of all the participants and HGM Azam College of Education, Dr. P.A. Namdar University, I express our gratitude to you. Thank you so much for this session, and thank you participants also for your patient listening and questioning. And also I would expect our participants to be asking more questions and being more interactive because our resource person are very knowledgeable in this area, and they can answer your questions, queries here. So be prepared with your questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for a patient listening, and do give feedback for each and every session. Thank you all.
Thank you. Also, for the participants, attendance link is given in the chat box. The link is open for 5 minutes more, and you can fill the attendance meanwhile. Thank you.